This detail completely changes how we look at the Rams. We have an in-depth look about a key defensive player improving his game, as well as a former Rams great turned analyst has a bold prediction for this Rams season. All that and more on this episode of Rams Digest. And welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 right now, so make sure to be a part of the journey and hit that button, and as well as click that notification bell, click all, so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams. And make sure to leave a like on this video right now. We are a week away from a regular season kickoff for this Rams team on a Sunday versus the Texans at home, a week from today, as I just said, so make sure to hit this like button right now for that. And now we have to get into our main story of today's video, which is about Jared Verse, and we have an in-depth look from Turf Show Times about how he's really trying to change his game and improve as a pass rusher, which we will get into right now. Despite his breakout success last season that included winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, LA Rams edge rusher Jared Verse still believes he can add diversity to his pass rush game and improve even more for 2025. Verse is known for having a ferocious bull rush, something that former Miami Dolphins left tackle Terron Armstead jokingly said contributed in his decision to retire. However, the second-year outside linebacker noticed something missing from his own game after re-watching film from his rookie season. As Verse watched offensive linemen playing against him, he realized that his opponents began to know what to expect. Fortunately for Verse, his talent made it even so even if they did know what was coming, they wouldn't be able to stop him either way. Still, it opened Verse's eyes to a potential flaw in his play and gave him something to improve on in the summer. Yeah, this is definitely a good insight here. I agree that Verse didn't need to improve his pass rushing, capabilities a little bit in terms of adding some more moves to his arsenal. And we actually have a quote from Verse himself about what he's doing to change this, which we will get into right now. A lot of times I don't use my speed enough, and that's probably the thing that's most dangerous besides my strength, said Verse. At the end of the day, I'm faster than you. You're not really going to get too much kick step that's going to be able to stop me. And that is from Jared Verse. And I do like the confidence here in his speed, because I do think he is a fast player. He's someone who's faster than you think he is. It's definitely something that I believe is a very underrated part of his game for sure. And now us getting to see that more this year hopefully leads to some more numbers production, because he got a lot of pressures and a lot of hurries, but he did leave a lot of sacks on the table, which he has said all throughout this offseason. And I think that can be, really fixed with these new moves. Throughout camp this year, Verse said he only used 10 to 15 power moves out of hundreds of live reps so he could commit to mastering a new speed rush. He also began employing a variety of counters that he didn't use enough in his rookie season. Now this is the interesting part of this. Only 10 to 15 power rush moves out of hundreds of live reps. Again, this could be is a little bit of exaggeration, and it probably is. I do understand him using mostly the new speed rush because that is the move he wants to learn most. You're only going to learn it by practicing, and that goes for anything. If you want to get better at anything, it is by practice, and as you can tell, Verse is definitely doing that here, and it makes sense for him. He wants to become a better pass rusher. I don't see any downsides in this. I think it's an absolutely amazing take for him to do, so it makes perfect sense. And comment down below right now your thoughts on this, as where we are right now with Verse, and what you think his new stats could be with these new moves. And stay tuned till the end of the story in a few more minutes, because I will give my stat predictions for Jared Verse. It makes sense why Verse would want to add speed to his game. When looking at the numbers, according to Next Gen Stats, which is an NFL stat base powered by Amazon, Verse hit 21.6 and 21.48 miles per hour in last season's divisional round loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Those were the 5th and 3rd fastest speeds for defensive lineman or linebacker in 2024. So while Verse may lack speed moves in his arsenal, he certainly does not lack the speed needed to add them. Yeah, I definitely agree. Again, 21.6 and 21.48 miles per hour, I can only dream of running that fast. I'm probably a good 6 to 7 miles per hour slower than that at my top speed, probably even more. And yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on for Verse, because that is eye-popping speed. If Verse can have pass rush moves at that speed a few times a game rather than just once or twice, and then with the bull rush plus the counters he was talking about, that is going to make him, he's already one of the best young pass rushers in the league. That would make him a top 10 pass rusher in the league for sure. Again, Verse, just to let you all know, he's 24 right now, going on the age of 25 to end this season. 66 combined tackles and 4.5 sacks. The tackle number is good, but you want that sack number to go up, especially with him playing that outside linebacker slash edge rusher position. And Verse ranked 4th in the regular season with 77 pressures according to Pro Football Focus. Still, he wasn't satisfied with his Defensive Rookie of the Year campaign, saying he left around 10 sacks on the field after finishing with 6.5 total for including the postseason, 4.5 regular season. In the offseason, Verse began seeking defensive line guru Ed McGilvra 2 to 3 times a week. McGilvra was already working with Rams D lineman Kobe Turner and has worked with the likes of Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald in the past. Despite working with some first-ballot Hall of Famers, McGilvra still had some mighty praise for the Rams' second-year pass rusher, which we will get into right now. And we also have a quote here from Chris Shula, and they're really trying to vary up the speed and the pass rush and the combos, as Chris Shula says here. That's what we've tried to hit on with him. Sorry about that. Trying some different stuff to continue to get his arsenal better, said D coordinator Chris Shula. Now we get into what the new coach has to say. I'll be completely honest with you. Jared might be the strongest and most powerful dude I've seen with my own 2 eyes, McGilvra said. I don't think it's comparable. He's really one of one. I mean, he's almost got the power of a 3 technique, but he's got the speed and get-off and size of a DN. You don't want to kill me because then I'm not going to be able to help you anymore, McGilvra said with a laugh. So I had to tell Jared a couple times, like, hey, relax, man, relax. And that is D-line coach slash guru Ed McGilvra. And that is some high praise there, saying that Jared Verse is the strongest guy he ever worked with. And this dude worked with Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. 2 guys, Donald for sure Hall of Famer, and Khalil Mack probably borderline right now. I do think he'll end up getting in once he retires. That's a fun one in the comments. Leave that down below. Do you agree about Khalil Mack being Hall of Famer or not? But seeing that this coach really believes in Jared Verse that much already with the amount of strength he has, I don't see a world why he can't be potentially. He'll still be behind Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Trey Hendrickson. But who's to say he won't be the 5th best pass rusher in the league by the end of the season? I still expect those 4 guys to be better. But outside of that, I can really see Jared Verse becoming that top 5 guy that we all believe that he can be. And Verse has added various new moves and developed some of his existing ones to help him come free off linemen after first contact. Verse also comes into his second season with more knowledge of offensive line tendencies, aiding his ability to choose the right counter at the right moment. Yeah, and that is definitely very important. Him watching the film, him just getting more reps, really shows him what these elite O-linemen can do. Because Teron Armstead, by the way, was an elite O-lineman for most of his career, and he's a guy who said half-jokingly that Jared Verse is the reason why he retired. So getting that praise already just after his rookie year is super important, and this really does change the way we think about the defense, going back to what I said in the intro, that if Jared Verse is this top 5 guy, you already have Kobe Turner, you have Byron Young, and you have Brandon Fisk. All these guys, I think, could have 5+ sacks again easily. And you're looking at a potential top D-line in football. Again, the Giants are going to be up there. I forgot about Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence as well as pass rushers. So Jared Verse might be on that level of them too. But that D-line is going to be insane. And then you have the Eagles with guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and others down there as well. And then you really look at the Rams, the D-line. The Niners, if Bosa's healthy and their young rookie Williams pans out, you never know. But again, this Rams D-line, I think, will be a top 4 or 5 D-line in football. Comment down below right now if you agree on that at all right here. And expectations for Verse and the Rams pass rush as a whole are at an all-time high heading into this season. While there may not be a singular focal superstar like Aaron Donald, LA feels like they have a young, highly impactful player at every single position across the defensive line. If Verse and Turner, accompanied by Brandon Fisk and Byron Young, can add more moves to their games and improve on their already impressive 2024, they could make the NFL recognize the new Rams fearsome foursome in the very near future. First off, love the nickname fearsome foursome. Like the video right now for that nickname, and comment down below your nickname for this Rams D-line if you do have one. But yeah, I totally agree with this. There's no reason to believe why this cannot happen, especially with a secondary that's a little bit questionable, let's be honest. I like the safeties, the Cam Kitchens and Jalen McCullough. I kind of like better than Cam Curl, so those 2 guys I do expect to be good as well. But the cornerback room, you got Witherspoon and Williams and Kobe Durant, who are all experienced, but Josh Wallace is a good bench guy, but Emmanuel Forbes Jr. is really unproven, was not great as a first-round pick in Washington. Still don't know how they couldn't trade him for anything, by the way. Shocked that they cut him there, but we'll see what he is. He's looked good in camp, but we don't know. And those 2 corners were up and down last year, Witherspoon and Williams. Durant probably being one of the more consistent guys from that secondary. So if that secondary is not really living up to what we think it can, this defensive pass rush is going to be super duper important, as well as that inside linebacking core of Landman, Spates, and Sean Dolak are going to be so important to this defense. But Jared Verse did have some more things to say, actually, about himself on the Rich Eisen show, which we will get into right now. I can tell what opposing linemen are about to do just by the angle of his foot. Or, oh, he's about to jump step me because his stance is a little bit wider than what it was before, Verse said on the Rich Eisen show. Once you know what the person in front of you is going to do, you can react to it however you want. And that is a very smart point there by Jared Verse, and he's kind of right about that. You really can kind of react however you want to once you kind of know the move that the O-lineman is going to make on you, just because you kind of have that advantage by knowing what these O-linemen are going to do to you, and that's with studying that film that Jared Verse has been doing, and he has all the makings of being a top pass rusher in this league. And if he is, again, this really does change the outlook of the Rams defense for sure. And leave in the comments down below your stat predictions for him right now. And my stat predictions for Jared Verse, I believe he'll have 80 tackles. I think that'll go up. I see him having that 11 and a half sack mark again because they have such a deep D line. I don't think he can get above 15 because he won't be double teamed, but at the same time, those other guys are going to eat too, just because I do think Jared Verse is a bit of that team player. Not to say other guys aren't, but I do think Jared Verse realizes he's with some other elite players here on this D line. They doesn't have to get that 15, 20 sacks. He can, he certainly can, and if he does, I'm here for it, but I also do think those other guys can each potentially have 5+ sacks as well. Leave in the comments down below your thoughts on the Jared Verse stats for next season right now. And now we have to get into what a former Rams great quarterback and now turned analyst Kurt Warner said about the team heading into this year. And he had a bit of a bold prediction and some bold statements about this team when he was interviewed by TMZ this weekend, and this story is brought to us by Rams Wire, and we're going to get into that right now. The LA Rams overcame a terrible 1-4 start last season and made it all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs. They came close to beating the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles too, putting together a fourth quarter drive in the snow that nearly got them into the end zone for a game-winning touchdown. They exceeded outside expectations in 2024, but with the core back for this season and several offseason additions expected to make big contributions, the bar has been raised, and Kurt Warner thinks they have a chance to clear it. And we'll get into what Kurt Warner has to say right now. I think they've got a great shot this year, Warner said. I think their defense is young and talented. You bring over Devontae Adams to go with Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford and coach Sean McVay. I think their defense, sky's the limit. We saw last year in the playoffs, they gave the Eagles maybe their biggest run out of anybody out there. NFL Network analyst and former quarterback Kurt Warner. Yeah, I agree with Kurt Warner. I do still have the Eagles as that number one team. I have to respect them coming off of a Super Bowl. But I really think the Rams, if fully healthy, are the second best team in the conference. I firmly do believe that. You have teams like the Lions, Packers, Bucks, and Commanders. I think there's a clear top five in the conference there of those teams. And I think the Rams do have the most complete team out of those teams. The Lions lost their two. If the Lions had their two coordinators, I'd probably put them above the Rams. But we saw the Eagles lose two coordinators after a deep run, and it took them a year to rebound. The Lions, again, I do think Dan Campbell's a better overall head coach than Nick Sirianni, and he has, I feel like, a better culture than the Eagles, so I do see the Lions being better, and just in terms of overall play than those Eagles teams were, but I can see them starting off a little slow with these new coordinators. The Packers, is Jordan Love going to be able to play the whole season? Will he be healthy? Lack of receivers, Micah Parsons probably is going to take a couple weeks just to learn the defense, because he's learning an entirely new defense, getting settled in an entirely new city. The Bucks are without Chris Godwin for the first few games of the year, but by the end of the year, he'll be back. The Commanders should be good and potentially better on paper than last year, so all those teams are the teams with the best chance to dethrone the Eagles. Comment below your thoughts on that right now as well. The biggest question mark with the Rams is probably Stafford's back. It was an issue all offseason, and though he's seemingly good to go for week 1, it remains to be seen if he could stay healthy all year. Yeah, that's definitely true. We talked about that a couple days ago, that Dan Graziano of ESPN reported that the Rams are going to have to really monitor this injury throughout the year. And again, if Stafford plays 15, 16 games, they're fine. But if he only plays that 10 or 11 game mark, I could see them potentially being in trouble and not being able to go fully into the playoffs fully healthy. Warner was asked if he really thinks the Rams have a chance to win it all, and he confirmed that belief by also looking around the NFC and seeing a bunch of teams capable of chasing the Eagles down, as we have that for you right now. I do, he said. You look around the NFC, I still think the Eagles may be the most overall talented team, but I think there's a number of other teams, including the Rams, that have got a shot. Again, this is from Kurt Warner, NFL numeric analyst and a former great quarterback. And yeah, I agree, kind of as I said earlier, the 5 teams I mentioned are my top Super Bowl contenders in the NFC, and I think it is pretty cut and dry for right now. You never know. Some team, there could be another team like the Vikings who surprisingly go 14-3. Like, you never know out there. And that team, to me, if the Niners are healthy, I do think they can get back into that conversation, but as of right now, they have a lot of injuries to their depth, so I don't see them getting into that conversation. But comment down below your sleeper team in the NFC right now to potentially be a Super Bowl contender. I'd want to know. To me, I'm calling the Niners a sleeper team just because they have a lot more injuries than you actually think right now. But besides that, a sleeper team to make the playoffs. Maybe you can go with a team like the Panthers just because they have an easy schedule. Not a Super Bowl contender, but maybe they get the 7th seed because outside of the Bucs, that division is not great. So leave in the comments down below your thoughts on that as well right now. And no one should count out the Rams when they're healthy. Sean McVay is an outstanding coach and gets the most out of his players no matter what. And Stafford is a winner when he's on the field. As long as they don't get bitten by the injury bug, they'll be in good shape come December and January. Yeah, again, I fully agree. I think the Rams are the second best team in the NFC right now behind the Eagles. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. If you want to be a part of that, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never missed whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams. Make sure to leave a like on this video right now for the Rams being exactly a week away from their season opener next week. We got all the pre-game prep and predictions you need for this game, so make sure to hit that like button right now and subscribe and like as well because we have some announcements coming next week about some expansion and some new content coming soon. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Leave in the comments down below your thoughts on Jared Verse and his stat predictions, as well as where you think the Rams rank in the NFC and some other contenders that you think that they need to look out for. I listed mine. And I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one, and have a great rest of your day.